My dearest Jim Bob, I am so grateful to be your wife, and here are some of the things that I absolutely love about you. You are a wonderful husband, number 1. Number 2, you're my best friend. Number 11, you're a gentleman. You make me feel like a lady. Number 12, you have common sense. Number 20, you're a great leader. 21, you're a godly man. 22, you lead our family. 38, you're a great kisser. 39, you have good judgment. 40, you are very forgiving.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Monday, June 21st, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you had an amazing Father's Day for all of you daddies out there and all of you families out there. It's time to get back into it. I did a video last night that I dropped kind of sporadically, and during that time I did a voiceover video, which I asked you guys in comments if this was something that you liked, and a lot of you said that you preferred it. So I'll be mixing in some voiceover work, which is a little bit easier for me to edit, and then I'll also be doing regular videos where you'll be able to still see Frida and whatever I'm wearing, since some of you guys like my clothes and makeup. I know it's weird, but I love that you love it. So welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Yesterday was a big day in the world of fathers, and no bigger daddy out there than Jim Bob Duggar was celebrating with his family. Before we jump into the story, I want to let you guys know a couple things. If you are not following me on my social medias, make sure that you do. I have just recently created a subreddit for those of you that love the Reddit format, and the new subreddit that you can join for the community is it's WOACB official. I'll be including a link to the new subreddit, and all you have to do is join. I also have a brand new Twitter, which I know is kind of annoying, but my other Twitter got marked in a way where people couldn't see it. So the brand new Twitter, if you'd like to follow me, and I would encourage you to do so, is Katie Joy, WOACB. And then as always, check out my Instagram community. This is by far my favorite place to be. And if you aren't check me out at Without a Crystal Ball. All right, let's dive into what's going on with Jim Bob Duggar. Yesterday was Father's Day, and we know that Father's Day for a lot of dads is a really big day. Now, magnify that by a dad of 19 or 20 if you count Tyler, who is a boy that Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar have taken custody of, who is Michelle's great nephew. Yesterday, Jim Bob uploaded a photo. So the Duggars actually returned to Instagram for the very first time with posts. They have not posted on their timeline or they haven't posted on Instagram at all on their page where they could take comments since Josh's arrest. Now, the video, which had everybody playing outside, playing some sort of game, included a lot of the kids, although it was quite a bit smaller of an event than normal. For instance, there was quite a few kids missing. Now, on hand at the event were the normal typical kids that live there. So we saw James walk by, we saw Jana, we saw Jordan, Jennifer, Johanna, Tyler was there, and then there was Jessa and Ben. Jessa showed up with a very pregnant tummy. This is the biggest bump I've seen on her so far. Jed and Katie were there as well, and it looked like Joe and Kendra. Now, if you're wondering if Anna was there with Josh, no. Josh is not allowed to be around any minor children that are not his own, and Anna was not there with any of her kids. My guess is that Anna was actually with Josh at the custodian's house or something. It would also maybe be that Anna doesn't want to be filmed as well. So Anna and Duggar was not there, and some other kids that did not make this event were Josiah and Lauren. So Josiah and Lauren, I thought this was interesting because they've actually been super, super quiet since everything went down. They haven't been on social media in months. The last time they posted on their Instagram was in November. So they were not at this event, or at least seen in the videos, nor were Joy and Austin. Now, Joy did comment on the post on Instagram. Now, Joy did comment on the post on Instagram saying, best way to spend Father's Day. And a lot of people assume that meant she must have been there, but I don't think she actually was there. Now, Jill and Derek obviously were not there. You wouldn't have expected them to be there anyway. But one person I thought that wasn't there that was interesting was John David and Abby. Now, John David and Abby have always been like very involved in this family, and to have them not at this event, or at least in the videos, to me struck me as a little bit odd. We also know that John David looked a little bit agitated when he was in the last episode of Counting On. And I don't know if that means that he is still sort of having issues here and he might be frustrated, because yesterday on Instagram, John David didn't even acknowledge his father. In fact, John and Abby on Instagram posted a photo and it says, "Happy Father's Day to the man of my dreams." And it had a photo of John David and Gracie. There was no mention of Jim Bob, and in the same respect, there was no mention of Abby's father. So Jim Bob did not get a shout out at all from John David, the second oldest. And if you remember, when it was Mother's Day, John David had no problem giving his mom posting a story. Remember how I told you that I had posted on there that no one had given Michelle a shout out for her Mother's Day. Well, and then suddenly all the kids started sending Mother's Day posts. Well, John David didn't acknowledge his dad at all, and he did with his mom. And then I also noticed that Jeremiah did not say anything. So again, when there was Mother's Day, Jeremiah had made a post for Michelle, but on Father's Day, he was not posting for his dad, and he also wasn't seen in that video. Could there be a twin divide here? Could there be one twin on each of the twins that's not on Team Duggar and one that's not on the other side of justice? It might be easier for some of the kids to wish their mother a happy Mother's Day because they maybe don't view their mom as maybe a threat or the one who's pulling the strings, let's just say. So I thought that aspect was pretty interesting. And then, Jill was, in terms of what kids actually publicly wished Jim Bob Duggar a happy Father's Day, there was Jana Duggar, who shared a photo of her as a baby, and it said, "Love you, Dad," and it's just Jim and her. There was also a photo by Claire Duggar, which said, "Happy Father's Day, Pops. Thankful for you and the joy that you bring us." Now, Justin and Claire not being at this event isn't weird because they live in another state, so it would be actually weirder if they were there. Jed actually shared a photo on his Instagram which said, "Happy Father's Day to my dad. Your love, fun, and hard work are second to none. We love you, Pops." And then Jason Duggar reshared the video that the Duggars shared of them playing a game outside. Ginger Duggar also shared a throwback of her sitting with her dad, and it said, "Happy Father's Day, Pops." Joy Forsyth shared a photo that said on her stories that said, "Happy Father's Day, Daddy, I love you." Now, some people were wondering whether or not this photo was of her and her dad on Father's Day, but he was wearing a blue shirt in the video that the Duggars shared, and in the photo that she shared with her dad, he was wearing a black shirt. And then Jill Duggar, she took things a little bit differently, and rather than doing a story, Jill actually posted a tribute to Derek. So Jill Duggar's post said this: "Happy Father's Day to my sweet hubby, who is the best dad to our two little guys. I am so grateful to you, Derek Dillard. The boys look up to you so much and want to be just like you. Happy Father's Day also to my dad and my late father-in-law, Rick Dillard." So her tribute was mostly to Derek. She didn't include a photo of Jim Bob, and some people were irritated because they said it was like Jill put a footnote to her dad, but I don't really think that would be super surprising. Now, Amy Duggar King, her Father's Day note, I actually thought was kind of, tongue-in-cheek here, and I think a little bit maybe she's got a message to Jim Bob here because she was talking about toxic masculinity. So her Father's Day message said this: Happy Father's Day weekend to the real men who protect and love their children, who are true examples. This was likely a little bit of shade to Jim Bob and Josh Duggar, and it said, masculinity isn't toxic, the absence of it is. Weak men are abusive and spiteful, strong masculine men are protecting and loving. Burn. So we know that Amy has no problem throwing some shade. So Amy Duggar King was not wishing Jim Bob a happy Father's Day, but he's also not her dad. So what does this all mean? I don't know. This is a time when it's not always easy for everyone to get together, and just because an adult doesn't show up at a Father's Day event doesn't mean that they weren't there. But I do think that there's been some evidence here in my opinion, that John David and Abby are really trying to distance themselves from Jim Bob and Michelle. And I think this might be when we look at John David not wishing him a happy Father's Day, John David looking upset when he actually is in the last episode, and now we have him just sort of not even being at the event yesterday. Now, a lot of you did say that you saw Joe and Kendra there. And that's true. You did see Joe and Kendra. So here's the thing. I'm told that Joe and Kendra have had some struggles with the Duggars in the last year or so, but Joe also works with his dad. So I think, we have to temper our ideas that they're not going to show up to things or they're not going to participate in things because they both are in a real estate company together. Some of the boys are very enmeshed with their dad and they don't have their own businesses. So it's going to be harder for them to sort of spread their wings. Other boys that have their own businesses and can kind of do things and are not relying on Jim Bob might have it a little bit easier. Joe is very, very, very tied to his father. So we see some of the Duggars completely ignoring their dad. We see some of them not even there. And we see Amy throwing shade. Now, no matter what you say or do, Jim Bob Duggar, there's a lot. There's a lot here. And we still don't know, there's all these people saying the truth needs to come out. Will the truth come out? It's who knows. I don't know what Jim Bob could or could not be involved in, but it's clear to me at least that some of these kids are not super happy with their dad. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is that Josh Duggar, who is generally someone that the Duggars have posted about throughout the years, and, we still did not see any posts from Anna about Josh, and I don't think we should expect that. But, Josh Duggar has obviously not been appearing on anything on social media because he's not allowed to be on social media, let's just be honest. And Anna has taken a break from social media. So we don't really know what's going on with Josh, what's going on with Anna. We can't really say what's the deal here, but I think it's fair to say that, he can't be around the kids because of the court order. So it would be so creepy if he would have been there. And then he also would have been violating his bond conditions by, being somewhere that he's not approved to be. So Josh Duggar is, at least from what it looks like, abiding by the rules and not showing up to family events. And that makes it different because Josh has always been so vocal in everything. He's always been so front and center. I was actually looking through old videos on the Duggars YouTube channel that they've kind of abandoned, and there's all these videos of Josh kind of talking and saying things to his mom, and it's definitely an absence felt because he's the firstborn and he was so coddled by Jim Bob Duggar. So the new form of the Duggars is going to be including one that does not include Josh, and for some of you that might make you happy, and for others of you that want him to break his bond conditions, you may be disappointed. I don't know what to tell you, but here what I will say is that Jim Bob Duggar is going to have mountains here to climb as he spends his time, resources, and energy in defending Josh Duggar. And if this does go to trial, this is going to cost them a lot of money. So the Duggars have money, obviously. Jim Bob has real estate investments. He has a real estate company. He does house flipping. He is also a landlord. And then he owns property and leases out stuff for like cell phone towers. That's actually how he made a lot of his money in the very beginning. So I don't necessarily see them going broke, but the show has not been picked up, at least from what I can see. And without it being picked up, they are going to lose quite a bit of money because that show was driving quite a bit of revenue. And I'm guessing, he'll lose out on options for speaking engagements. The idea that he might get any more book deals is probably limited at this point, and I'm guessing the market for anything that Jim Bob and Michelle put out at this point is slim to none. So financially, they are probably going to feel this, but I don't know how much. And it's hard to know because TLC has never really stated how much they make per episode. It's average that a family would make around $25,000 to $40,000 per episode. So, he could be missing out on, $500,000 a year per se. If you're making millions a year, though, that might not be a whole lot. And it's really tough to know how much he's making and pulling in his real estate business. Either way, the Duggars had a Father's Day. Josh Duggar was not there. John David was not there. And then Josiah and Lauren also. Josiah and Lauren not being there, again, is giving me more and more clues that Josiah and Lauren might really, really, really be over this. Now, I don't know if that's true, but Josiah has been a target of Jim Bob in so many ways over the years. They sent him away to Alert Academy multiple times. He was sent to another place. There's been so much rumor and so much speculation around Josiah over the year for having sort of a wild streak and being very rebellious. Could this have been maybe the straw that broke the camel's back? I don't know. Some of you guys felt like maybe Jim Bob was trying to target and blame this on Josiah because Josiah does work in the cars industry and has sold cars with his brothers. He's also worked with Josh in the past. So I don't know, but Josiah was not there. Lauren was not there. And I think there could be something to this. So I think at least two of the boys might be not happy about this, and that is Josiah and John David. Now, what do you think about Jeremiah? Why is he ignoring Jim Bob? That's kind of odd, isn't it? And tell me your thoughts about that video I found of Michelle Duggar and the 100 things that she loves about Jim Bob. What was your favorite?
You draw strength from God. 48. You stand for the truth. I admire that. 49. Your enthusiasm gets me excited. 50. You're a man of conviction. 51. You're a man of integrity.
Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and make sure you turn on notifications so you know when I go live or new content loads. And also, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me some comments. Tell me your thoughts. I always love to hear from you. And if you leave a comment, you never know if you might end up in my next video. Bye, guys.